Today I want to talk about the Sabrent 1TB Thunderbolt 3 USB external SSD. To put it in perspective, we'll compare it with the Orico USB 4 enclosure that I recently reviewed that was loaded with a Samsung 980. If you're interested in knowing more about this new Sabrent SSD, then stick around and watch the rest of this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications icon so you'll know when there's new content. If you've seen any of my videos, you know that I'm a bit storage crazy. Whether it's a NAS unit, hard drive, SSD, I'm always looking for storage devices that offer maximum performance, flexibility, and a pretty decent value. Sabrent recently released this device and caught my attention because it claimed to be one of the fastest external SSDs out there, and it supported Thunderbolt 3 as well as USB 3.2 and 0.1 Gen 2. As I recently did a video on the Orico USB 4 SSD enclosure that I loaded with a Samsung 980 NVMe drive, I was kind of intrigued to see how it would compare with this new Sabrent drive. So before we get into the testing, let's take a quick look at the hardware and see what comes in the box. The device comes nicely packaged in a metal box, and inside, of course, you get the drive. You get a USB-C to a USB-A cable, a Thunderbolt 3 cable, and packaged separately, you actually get a protective cover for the drive, which actually comes in handy not only for protecting the drive, but it actually provides like a nice non-slip device. In comparison, it's slightly smaller than the Orico NVMe enclosure, and it's roughly the same thickness given it has a cover on it. Without the cover, it's actually slightly thinner, but not enough to make any real difference. The one thing I did notice, though, is the weight. It's quite heavy, though it's a smaller drive. It's heavier than the Orico enclosure, despite being smaller and not having a removable drive. I can only assume that it has a beefier heatsink on the inside, but as I'm not going to take this apart, I can't really verify this. This is just an assumption. So now that we've seen the hardware, let's put it through some testing. I'm going to test this Thunderbolt using the Apple Macbook M1 and also a 2018 Razer Stealth, which has a Thunderbolt port running Windows. And then for backwards compatibility, I'll test it using a laptop that has USB 3.1 Gen 2 just to see how that compares. It's all the same hardware I used for the original Orico. And overall, we'll get to see how it compares to a DIY solution using one of my favorite Samsung drives. As you can see from the Blackmagic disk test, both drives are performing about the same on the write speed, but the read speeds perform much better on the new Sabrent 1TB, at least when it's on the Macbook Air. When I tested the Razer Stealth, the story was a little different, with the Sabrent again being significantly faster on the write speeds, but marginally slower on the read speeds. There are reports that the Samsung 980 series don't perform very well in external enclosures, but I haven't had the opportunity to verify that for myself. When testing USB performance, they were basically identical, which is kind of to be expected given that both of these drives are being limited by the USB 3.x performance. And I didn't run into any compatibility issues using either one of these drives. As I mentioned, there's other sources that claim that some of the Samsung drives don't perform as well on an external enclosure, and after looking at these results, I might actually agree with it, but I'm going to reserve any judgment until I actually have a chance to test it for myself. I will be picking up a non-Samsung NVMe drive soon and retesting it in the Orico enclosure to see if the results are more or less what we're seeing in the Sabrent or if they stay basically the same. Either way you go, you'll end up with a very fast, suitable drive for even heavy tasks such as video editing. If you already own an extra NVMe drive that you're not using for anything, then getting the Orico will save you a little bit of money. However, if you don't have a drive and you're looking for the absolute fastest, then go for the Sabrent. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe and don't forget to hit the notifications icon so you'll be notified of any new content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.